What's up everybody and welcome back to Perfectly Uncomfortable. So when the pandemic started, I decided I'm going to invest some funds into some of these companies that really took a downfall during that time. At the time, I'd never used Robinhood before, so I decided it's a really good time to start, especially since there's no fees and it's really easy to get yourself set up there. And that's what I'll go through today. I'll show you what I've invested, how much it's grown, and how much I have today. So let's get going. So as you can see, I've got just over $16,000 invested in Robinhood today, and the growth that I've seen from about the 17th of March is 65%. So let's go through my history and how I actually got there. So as I mentioned, my approach at the very start was to invest in a lot of companies that are struggling throughout the pandemic. To get that growth when the pandemic eventually subsides and those companies go back to growing again or hopefully being themselves. And this is kind of money that I was willing to lose, so don't get me wrong, I wouldn't do this with important cash, but that's a decision I made at that point in time for this cash. So as you can see, I bought a lot of companies that were kind of down. It was about 30 stocks. So as you can see here, from Aurora Cannabis, all the way Microsoft, Vivint Solar, Inovio, Berkshire Hathaway, there's Uber, Boeing. Boeing was really down at some point and I made quite good growth there. Some solar companies, Plug Power, Facebook, GoPro, Chesapeake Energy, American Airlines, and as you can see, really a lot of buys all the way up here. Got some dividends that came in. Not really too interested in dividends, to be honest. I rather prefer to focus on the growth of the company. And as you can see here, on the 22nd of August, I decided to sell off most, if not all of these stocks. I got good growth from it and I felt like it was a good time to pivot and invest in another company. And what did I invest in? Well, firstly, ARK Innovation ETF, Genomic Revolution, FinTech, Autonomous Technology, and the Next Generation Internet Fund. All these ARK funds have been doing really well over the last 3 to 5 years, and I felt like I wanted to buy into those. I bought some Peloton, Microsoft, Apple, and Nikola. Those are all sold off today. Luckily, the Nikola too. I got to sell Nikola just before they had that GM issue where, let's not go into that. So I sold all those shares off. And as you can see, I started buying Tesla. So Tesla, ARK, Tesla, ARK, Tesla, Tesla, Tesla. And man, am I happy that I did that. So scrolling all the way up to today, you can see mostly I'm invested in Tesla. So let's look at that portfolio. And these are the numbers. Just over 13,000 in Tesla, 5,000 in ARKK, 3,000 in ARKG, 1,300 in ARKF, 1,200 in ARKW, and just under $1,000 in ARKQ. And I'll continue to push money into Tesla and all these ARK funds over time. Now back to that growth. Starting in March, when I started investing into those companies that really went down through the pandemic, I started getting some good growth for them over the past few months. So in June, I was up about 12%, and end of August about 21%. So it was a little bit of a dip, and then it really started spiking up with a high here of 49%. At this point, I'd sold off all the companies that I invested in due to the pandemic, and this is kind of growth that you're seeing here from ARK and Tesla. Obviously, mostly being in Tesla, it's going to be really volatile, and we expect that with Tesla over the years. And with that S&P 500 jump from 16 November up to today, up 65%, which really is good. It's better than I expected, to be honest. Having had started this in March and made $6,000 or over 65% up to today, which were really only in November, much more than I really expected to make. So let's get down to the summary here. In March, I added 50 and 1950, so adding up to 2,000. Another 5,000, 800, and 1,000 in September, 400 in October, and 500 in November, brings me out of pocket 9,700 for this investment. And today, it's over 16,000. Now you might have noticed that I did do some margin on this account as well. The margin is not included in this amount here. Honestly, I tried out margin for the first time ever, and it works pretty well, but I wouldn't suggest it for most people, especially myself as well. I don't think the risk is necessary, so I'm looking to pay off that margin in the next few weeks. This used to be around 50-50 on margin and equity. The margin has now dropped down to less than 38%. I'll definitely drop that down to 0% in the coming weeks. And there you have it. That's what I currently have invested in Robinhood, and I'll keep pushing in some money into this and some of my other funds as well. I do have a big holding in Amazon. I don't see a day where Amazon stops growing at this point in time. I see Amazon as a growth stock for the foreseeable future, and I'll keep investing there as well. If you haven't seen my video where I break down Amazon and why I think it'll continue growing, and I focus more on just the financials, I actually look at how the company is being run, policies and processes in place, and I used a video from back in 1998 where Jeff Bezos called a lot of what we see today. So if you haven't seen that, check it out. I think Amazon's going to be a great investment opportunity for the next decade, including Tesla, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing with ARK here as well. That being said, this is not investment advice. Always speak to your own CPA and do your own research before you invest. And that's me for this one. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel for any future content. I release videos weekly on investments, financial freedom, Tesla, and real estate. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you guys next time.